Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Open for Business. I got a good crew today.
Yeah.
Freddie Rappina, and introduce your guest there.
This is Erin Bayer.
And Erin, what do you do for a living?
I am a mortgage officer, kind of at the base of it.
You could not have been on a better show because you are open for business, aren't you?
We are so very open for business. My official title is Vice President of Retail Sales, but that's just the fancy way of saying loan officer.
Yep, you're LO.
Yeah,
LOs.
We got a bunch of LOs working for us, and it's fun, good times.
Yeah, it's rough right now, right, though? No, I mean, not rough in a bad way, but it's like, it's back to the old days of doing things.
I mean, it's a really interesting time to be in this business, absolutely. And, I think it should be challenging, right? It's not the easiest
Can't make
thing
it
to
too easy.
No.
We did that once, remember?
Yeah.
That didn't work out so well.
Not so much. Not so much.
It's amazing that people don't remember those times. Like, I can understand like someone that was maybe in their mid-20s, okay, they were in grade school at the time. But if you're like late 40s, early 50s, and you're like,
you remember
this time
those.
it's different, like, it's...
Okay, so now that you've said that, now Freddie is from Opta Financial, right? We are technically, by definition, and I hate to come out of the gate with this, in a recession, aren't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, from a definition standpoint, what they taught us in school was 2 consecutive quarters of contracting GDP is technically a recession. But it doesn't mean a recession. It doesn't mean the recession has to be like the last one. The last one was crazy, right?
Yep.
But there's. If you Google it, it's going to say it starts with trough, and then you have expansion, then you have peak, and then you have recession, trough, expansion, peak, recession. So it's part of the business cycle.
Yep.
It's part of the cycle, but you don't want it to be, of course, you don't want it to be long, and you want it to be quick, and you want to get back into the expansion part of it because you want the general trend to be up.
In the climate that we're in, it's actually, you can take advantage of this.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the time, I know this is the scary time to go, now's the time to buy. Now's the time to get in.
Everything's on sale.
Right.
Of course, the market's down, and it's, if you're looking for the capital appreciation, you want to buy low and sell high. But I also like to challenge people on, what they have learned the past, almost 10 years. Okay,
Right.
so it's like we've had this great bull market run,
right?
Where the stock market's going up, and everybody's like happy and looking at their statements or whatever. But now that is obviously either coming to an end or has ended.
Right.
Who got wealthy during that time?
Right.
They're like, did you get wealthy during that time? Because if you didn't, and that was one of the biggest bull markets the U.S. has ever seen.
Right, yeah.
So what are you doing? And why are you not changing your attitude towards some stuff during this time, right? Because now it's time that you kind of look back. Okay, that was a bull market. It was awesome. Is my life so much better now than it was when that bull market started?
Right. We were talking off camera, and it was, before the show started, and it really is. It's if you didn't do well, then you were doing something wrong.
Well,
in my opinion, that's not your opinion, but in my opinion, if you didn't take advantage of that, like the mortgage people, I knew I had friends in it, and they were writing 30, 40, 50, 200 loans a month, and I'm like, I hope you're banking all that.
Well, or are you building wealth with that, right? So Erin and I talk about this a lot with the, especially with mortgage officers and real estate agents. There was that great time. Okay, what are you doing with that money? Are you using that money to build wealth for yourself?
Right.
Or are you just buying a bunch of stuff?
Crap.
Right? Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Crap that you don't really need.
Yeah.
And could you buy the assets that you needed to sustain the lifestyle, the same lifestyle, now when it's a little bit more leaner for mortgage people and real estate agents. And that's what I want people to focus on if they are in those, maybe more cyclical professions where
Right.
it's great for, Erin's awesome. She's always going to do awesome, whether it's good
Appreciate
times
the
or bad. But there's a lot of people out there that need to did I make a mistake by not purchasing those assets, by not putting money away? Did I spend too much? Now the party's over.
Yeah. Well,
Eh.
for some people it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw.
But I think that, for some, it's okay for the party to be over, and that, ultimately their path may not include a profession in the cyclical business, because it takes grit, and it takes, get down dirty and make it happen, and not everybody has that, and that's okay. When it's easy and it's flying from the sky, yeah, cool, everybody can do that, you know what I mean? But when you really have to get down and make something happen, that's not for everybody, and that's okay. That kind of weeds out those who can and those who can't. At the end of the day, I think particularly in real estate, it should be left to those who really can and really take it seriously and do a good job and mean well doing it, because not everybody does.
Yeah.
And those people can go.
How many times have we been in an industry where people jump in and go, "Oh, I'm doing this now," and you kind of look at them going, "What?
Yeah.
You're doing what?"
Yeah.
Everybody's going to, and a lot of people may struggle in the beginning, right? But how are you setting yourself up for those lean times? The squirrels running around all summer gathering those nuts for winter.
So, okay, all right, great, right. How are you setting yourself up?
Right.
And the question is how do you, Freddie?
No, yeah,
That is a good
That is a good question. I guess that the one's all me, right?
And I think sit here and say you should.
Right.
People don't know how to or what to.
They don't.
They're like, cool, I'm going to go on this cruise and I'm going to go buy this cool car and I'm going to look amazing in it. But at the end of the day,
I'm going to pay
cruise is
$200,000.
over.
Yeah.
Cycles down. Now what?
Yeah.
So how do you insulate yourself?
Well, it boils down to income. How do you create the income that's going to sustain your lifestyle during those lean times?
Right.
It has to be there, or else when that gravy train is over, and now you're trying to float maybe these liabilities that you bought along the way, and it becomes increasingly difficult, and that there's that saying that bulls walk upstairs slowly and fall out of windows very quickly, and that's it can happen pretty quickly for a lot of people that it gets
So we say
unraveling.
income. So what, we go get a different job? What are we talking about income?
Oh, when we're talking about income, we're talking about actually generating income, generating passive income.
Passive
I see you're waiting for that, right?
Well, I was just
That's a
looking
great
for
word.
income.
I wasn't
Passive
sure.
income.
Should I get another job?
no.
What do I do here? How do I
Are you
get
gonna-
another
Generate passive
Are you going to
income.
go work at Home Depot?
I don't know. What do I mean, that's why I'm asking. What? Okay, cool.
So
how do I do that?
Yeah, passive income, being able to generate wealth from not your sweat, right? Not your sweat. And of course, that typically comes down to either purchasing cash flowing assets like real estate, maybe investing in businesses that are going to create passive income for you. It's really difficult when it's your sweat, your job all the time, creating all the income, because if that goes away, that's not good. It's not.
But I think it's a mindset thing.
Oh,
right?
it's still a mindset.
Because here's the thing: is you put your time in, you put your work into that incremental income. I've worked X amount. I'm getting this reward, and with this reward, I want to feel good, right? So I'm going to use that to feel good, whatever it is. I'm going to buy this cool watch, this cool purse, this cool whatever. But that's not how you're going to create passive income, because your purse ain't going to pay you, your cruise ain't going to pay you back, your car ain't giving you gas back. So.
Right. I want you to buy the asset first, then go buy the watch.
Right. So how do you sort of make that shift? Because it's more of a longer term scope of things. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna feel good about knowing that down the road this thing is going to pay me, and remove that short term, instant gratification mindset, because that's really what it's gonna take. Right. And so it's like, okay, I just made all this money, great, and now I'm gonna go dump it into an investment property that's gonna pay me at $1,000 a month. Well, $1,000 a month doesn't sound that cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now you get 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, well, you start
10
adding-
of them.
you
Cool,
start
now I
adding
got
those up.
$10,000 a month.
Right.
How do you feel good about that? How do you get to that mindset?
Right, and I think that's the biggest, that's the $1 million question right
Right?
there. How do you, the mindset
That's
switch
it.
will change everything for people, or it just won't. And if you don't have that mindset, you should be paying down debt. You should be doing like getting all your stuff like just paid off, and that's fine. And we talk
We
about
were
it.
talking about the
That's
debt
checkers.
versus- yeah, right.
We have that whole.
Go ahead. Tell 'em
Oh,
about-
yeah.
I love that.
Checkers is
Tell
what
everybody.
the middle class is kind of forced down
They
their
are
throat.
forced to play it, that's
Yeah,
correct.
forced to invest in retirement accounts, and the checkers board right
Say
there.
Can't see
Invest in
it.
retirement
Say it.
accounts, retirement accounts, live debt free.
Right.
Hand your money over to Wall Street, and hopefully one day you'll get a good rate of return, right? Hopefully, right? Yeah, because I'm a financial advisor, but I can't guarantee a rate of return, right? So that's checkers. The chess would be just you do invest the money, right? But then you have to at some point create some leverage there, right? Where you have the assets under the management, and then you're gonna call Erin. Erin's gonna qualify you for the loan. A lot of it's going to be based on your assets, based on your reserves. Can you pay Erin back?
Right.
Or not?
Erin's
I
gonna
know
give
you're
you
going to.
some money to
I know
buy
you're
a
going to sell
house.
loan, but are you going to be able to pay the lender back?
Right.
Right. And once you are able to pay the lender back, now it's leverage. Not really debt anymore.
Right.
Debt is when you really don't understand how you're going to pay it back, right? I better go to work. I got to get that check every 2 weeks, or else I'm not going to be able to pay it back.
Right.
So that's once that mindset kind of shifts,
Yep.
I think people understand that you can create more wealth with debt.
Right.
Right. But it's tough, right? It's not something people are going to do maybe overnight,
Right.
but they should really look at it, understand it, and if they don't want to do that, then they should play checkers very well.
Right.
Nothing's worse than being a bad checkers player.
And the uber wealthy guys, and I don't mean super uber, but I mean the millionaires and billionaires, they like debt.
Oh yeah.
They love debt.
I love debt.
Debt's a big deal for them. They're like, because they know how to use it.
Right. Yes.
But it's a step-by-step thing. If you're going from the mindset of like, I want the new Jordans because that's cool as a kid, and you don't know any different, you have to learn how this works. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a step-by-step process. If you're starting with nothing, right, then okay, first thing, bottom line is you need not to be paying money in rent. That's your first step into the game, right? Now you own a home. Okay, cool. Now you're building equity. Okay, cool. Now then you can get another one. Right? You can buy another one. Now that first property is going to be based on just what you said. How am I paying this? How are you paying the bank? Right? So that's going to be your own income.
Yes.
However,
You got to start somewhere.
right, and then once you get to that next step, okay, now you're talking about second home or investment property. Now you're able to utilize different income, not your own income. That's where the game gets fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And that's where you can get to that next level. However, if you haven't done step 1, you can't see step 2, 3, 4, 5 billion.
10.
None of that.
Yeah. And you have to also, and to Erin's point,
Yeah.
you have to believe that you can get to those steps.
Right.
Right. If you just throw your hands up like, oh, I'm never going to be able to get there, well, then you won't.
Right.
But if you take like, you know what, I think that we can do this. I think we can create some some good wealth during my
That's
lifetime.
an education piece. It's an education gap.
And that brings you into the chess world.
Right.
Right. Yes, that's brings you to the chess world.
Now I'm not looking at 1 moves. I may be looking at 6 moves ahead.
Yeah.
Or 8 moves ahead, because knowing how to play chess is a big deal, and you've got to know, well, this is going to happen, and then I got to. If you're 3 or 4 steps ahead, then you're on that. Then that mindset's changed.
The mindset changed when you really started to understand how wealth is created, how it's kept, understanding taxes, how to cover cover liabilities with assets.
Right.
I'm not saying all liabilities are bad.
Right.
I'm just saying, how are you paying for them, right?
Right.
The easiest example of that is a car, right? Because everybody's bought a car, and most people have bought a car, and they didn't have $30,000 sitting at the sitting in the bank, sitting in the bank when they bought the car, right? So you buy the car, and you at some point you probably finance the car, right? And with your income, and at the end of 5 years, you have now a car which is depreciated,
Right.
and all your money is now sitting in a bank somewhere that you've paid over those 5 years. So that's one way of doing it, and that's what a lot of people do. That's a poor checkers play, right?
Right.
A better checkers play is to save a ton of money, drive your hunk,
crap box. It's okay.
your box into the ground, right? Save enough to be able to buy the car cash. Now save what you would have been making in a payment to the car into another account. That account grows, and then eventually 5 years down the road you can buy another car cash, rinse and repeat. That's a better checkers play, right? It's still checkers though.
It's still checkers.
Chess.
Yeah,
Chess would be, okay, I'm going to save enough money to purchase an asset, let's say a rental property.
Right.
Purchase the rental property and then go get the auto loan, right, for the car, and make sure that the asset is going to produce enough income to cover at least the payment on the car, right?
Yep.
5 years go by on that, you still have all your money. It's sitting in the house, but you have all of your money.
It's all there.
It's all there, right? And you still have that depreciated car, but you have the asset now, still bringing in income every single month.
And so,
That's chess.
Real quick, let's break down that in a very specific example, because I think there's a lot of buzz about assets and income and things paying you, but very specifically, what does that mean? That means, okay, you take 20% or even 15%. You can do cool loans now that are 15% investment properties. Take 15% of a purchase, right? Put it into a home. Buy it for what? I don't know, $200,000. We're going to make up numbers just because I want to put this in perspective for folks. Okay, we buy a $200,000 house. Cool. Let's just, again, we're making up numbers. We're saying that, your mortgage payment's $1,500 a month, right? You rent that out for $25 because you can, right? Now you're going to cash flow $1,000 a month. Right? So now your cool car payment that you really wanted, which was now just coming out of your world, right, for $500, is now net. You're paying $500 of that $1,000 that you're making, and you still have $500 that you're able to save, right? So the idea is the house is the asset, the income is that $1,000 that it's producing, and $500 of it is going towards your liability, which is the car, right? So that's kind of how that works in specifics, just to kind of break that down for you.
Yeah, and that's a good breakdown, by the way.
Yeah, that's really good.
The goal is the goal is at the end of the year, end of the 5 years, there's no loss. Like you have, no and now you have an asset
and
producing.
Now that 200 became what? 220?
Yeah,
220,
even more.
Yeah.
So now it's worth more. You haven't paid a dime towards it because the person who's paying that $2,500 has been paying it for you, paying for your car, paying for your house. Now the house is worth more. That's what checkers. That's what chess is.
Yes.
There we go.
And then at the end of those 5 years, maybe you cash out, refinance that house.
Yeah, you cash it, keep that money flowing.
And you keep moving. You keep moving it. It can get really big really fast. Well, not really fast. It's not a get rich. No, there's no get rich quick scheme. But that's you're on the path at that
you're
point.
On the path.
A friend. This is what my friend did. Right. He started off with one rental house. Actually, he Airbnbs it.
Yep.
Right. Took that Airbnb and in 2 years bought another Airbnb.
Yep.
And he owns 7 houses that are cash flowing him correctly. Then he bought.
How much? Give us numbers. We need numbers.
I can't.
Come
on. No, he would. No, he'd kill me.
We don't know him.
And then he took some of that cash flow and bought the property behind his business.
Yep.
And was just like 20 acres. He just clear cutted it, and now he's renting that out for RVers and people that want to.
Creating cash flow.
Everything cash flows him. So, and he did it. He goes, because when I'm gone, I want my kids cash flowing.
Yes.
But not going, oh crap, Dad left us with debt.
Yeah.
Smart dude. Smart dude.
But that's how you do it.
Yep.
That's it.
And
anybody can do it.
Anybody, real estate something. No, not anybody can do it.
Here's the bottom line.
Right.
You got to be good at it.
This is what I've found in talking to all the people that I've talked to, people who are really great at it, people who are, it's about how you feel. Bottom line is how you emotionally digest this. In other words, if you feel comfortable taking risk, having rental properties, having all that stuff, and you're emotionally okay with that, it's hands down the thing to do.
Right.
But if it's going to stress you out to where you're like stuck in your house, like shaking in a chair, you shouldn't do that.
Then you're a checkers player.
And that's okay.
And that is okay. Absolutely. You want to be a good checkers player.
Yeah.
I only do that
if you're
when
going to play
I don't
checkers.
have things going. I get stressed when I don't have.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, I don't have enough.
Right.
Because I'm looking at going, we got to, and me and my wife are like, what we got to do? I said, because we're in the RV Airbnb world.
Yeah.
And I'm buying those to cash flow for us because they pay for themselves.
It's
they
great.
bring money
I have
in.
one. Yeah.
It's awesome,
Love
right?
Yep.
So I'm like, so do we? And I look, I'm like, and she goes, I said, all right, we need to get another RV. We need another camper.
Yeah.
Actually, we need to buy an older RV that people can drive. And she's like. And she is the one that worries. I'm the one that's like, no, I kind of want the stress.
Right, which is good. It's a good team.
Yeah.
Right. My heart is doing that when you're talking about Airbnb and campers. All right, so like that.
That's awesome. I love Airbnb campers. It's fantastic.
you gotta have something that you're not going to freak out about. Like I don't freak out about buying single family homes.
Right.
And in different areas of the country, decent cap rate, and I don't even have to go see them.
We were talking.
So
and that totally freaks me out. I don't want
So,
like a random house in Dayton, Ohio for like $95,000. I'm like, what those? That is not my thing. Like, you know what I mean? But for some people it is. So I think that the message here is define that for yourself, and you have to kind of know enough about it and talk to people and kind of just pull information to who am I as an investor? What do I want to do?
And like knowing exactly, having the education and knowing what you're doing, and starting out small and making some. If you're going to make a mistake, make it with small dollars.
Yeah.
No, don't.
Yeah. I mean, listen, here's the thing. No mistake or failure is terrible unless you don't learn from it. I don't care. Fall on your face all you want, lose your money, do whatever it is. When you get up, you learn from it, you never do it again.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it that way anymore. But I'll go this way because that's the way I should have done it in the first place and blah, blah, blah. You learn quick.
So ultimately, it's like, okay, well, if you came in with nothing, right, and you lose it all, you've technically lost nothing.
Right.
You've lost nothing. So it's like, okay, just have at it. And either you feel comfortable and like, okay, I need this thing. This is my thing. I can't mess with my thing. And that's who you are. Cool, rock on, right? But if you really want to make it and you're like, cool, let's get it. Let's do all of it. Great. And I think that the message here at the end of the day is you're somewhere in the middle. And people like us help you to define that by educating you as to what's possible.
Yeah, and as you can see just from our conversation, like you can all have the mindset and still like maybe not agree with everything everybody's saying. No. Right? But you got the chess mindset
it's got to be there.
It's got to be there in order to be able to progress. But if you have the checkers mindset, you got to be darn good at checkers. You got to have no debt. You got to be able to, invest in those retirement accounts and, hope for the best.
What I said is if you work at Publix, your goal is to get all your debt. If you own Publix, you want as much debt as possible.
Well,
if you did it the right way.
If that Publix employee wants to play chess, it's going to be probably on a smaller scale. And that's okay, right? You don't have to own,
20 properties.
Yeah, apartment buildings or whatever to play chess. It may be, it may be a multiple of little properties, but again, the mindset it's got to be there.
Sometimes small moves are not bad moves.
No.
Yeah, no.
So.
No, and if you feel good about small moves, do it. Whatever you feel good about.
Do some smalls before you go to bigs.
Right. And ultimately, it's about the vision for yourself. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to see yourself? Good news, it's entirely up to you. Yeah. You could just dream it up. That's how people get places. They dream up themselves wherever it is. If you see yourself as I'm never going to get anywhere, I'm always going to be here, then absolutely hands down.
Did you think Elon Musk years ago went, I'm going to be making rockets? No. But
I don't know. I don't know.
Honestly, I do. I think Elon Musk said I am going to make rockets, and that's how he got there.
No, at some point, if you got to have it in the vision in your head in order to believe it, and that was a big switch. It was a big switch for me when I finally realized, I can do this. I can, because the United States, especially if you know the tax code, it's set up for you to become wealthy.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is so set up for you.
Absolutely.
You just have to know what you're doing, or you have to hire people who know what they're doing. And it's there.
I mean, it's America. Anything is possible.
I've always
Anything.
told people, well, John, what would you do? I said, well, the first thing you do, you got to know what you can do. So you need to talk to someone like Freddie, and if you're going to real estate, you need to talk to someone like Erin, because
it's a team thing.
It is, and you two people working together, because she'll go, okay, this is the kind of house you're comfortable. I can get you into, and blah blah blah, for investment wise. That's a big deal. And then you can go, well, we're going to take that money and we're going to do this with it.
Well, yeah, but it's all about people with real estate. They get so hopped up on the real estate, they forget that you can't. You can, but you shouldn't skip the market either, right? It's not like we're going to skip the market and go into real estate. It shouldn't be this market versus real estate. It should be, in my opinion, okay, let's put the money into the market, and then leverage those assets with a loan to purchase the cash flowing asset. So you never use your own money. You only use the money that's in her vault.
This show went by quick.
I know.
We should have we should maybe do this all the time.
All the time.
I think so.
All the time. This is awesome.
We love this.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. If you want to reach out to them, their information's been up the whole time. We'll see you next show on Open for Business.